them. I believe the 2-kill one was actually Mutas, but still, you get the picture. It's quite a lot of damage for those 4 Vikings without taking any losses. And it does look like Sakazaki is finally morphing a bunch of banelings. He's going to have more than enough to bring down this front, but he is going to blow a very large number of banelings getting down that front. So jpup's probably going to be in okay shape to clean up afterwards. He's not going to be the happiest gent in the world with multiple dead barracks and multiple dead factories, but so's the game. He's going to be able to stay in it, and he's probably going to be able to. And here the banelings come up right now, and they're all running into that barracks. Massive damage. Supply depot goes down, but only 4 banelings get through, and those 4 banelings are going to be able to be cleaned up very easily by those Marines and Marauders. This tech lab's going to burn down, it looks like, unless jpup gets an SCV over to repair it very quickly, but he doesn't really seem too keen on producing Marines and Marauders right now, so that's not... or Marauders, rather. He can still produce Marines without a tech lab. So that's not going to be the biggest deterrent for him. Sakazaki actually managed to get his food down quite a bit by throwing away all of his banelings. Very wise move by him. Whenever your food red as Zerg, you can always just morph a couple of banelings, do a little bit of damage, and that magically takes care of your food redness. Looks like jpup is coming in with some Vikings to do a little bit of ground-based harassment. He knows that Sakazaki has no troops up right now, and he's going to get up a whole bunch of drone kills before these Hydras come and drive these Vikings off. These Hydras do... I'm actually going to check to see if they have a range upgrade. These Hydras do not have the range upgrade, so these Vikings are going to be able to get away easily. As we can see, they have gotten away easily. I did not need to check. I could have just looked at that. jpup is actually going to go straight for the gold mineral patch with this second orbital command. That's going to put him in a very nice economic spot in a minute once he has that fully saturated, but it's going to be a lot harder for him to defend. It does not look like Sakazaki is doing the best job scouting. Sakazaki has actually had no vision of that region this entire game. So, not exactly that dangerous for jpup as long as Sakazaki continues in these patterns of play. Sakazaki's just pretty content to sit on 2 bases right here and spam a bunch of Hydras, it seems. jpup in the meantime is transitioning into a Viking Banshee army, which is just going to be able to mutilate any sort of air army that Sakazaki decides to put up. He's also continuing to pump out a couple of Marines and a couple of Marauders. Looks like just to serve as some sort of a defense force in case another baneling bust happens. And if we pop on over to the income tab, we can see that jpup is barely behind, but he's going to be catching up rapidly, especially once he starts spewing down mules from these command centers. This expansion orbital command is actually at 122 energy. I'm kind of surprised that he let it get that high, and it looks like I missed a little bit of cloaked Banshee harass, a little bit of economic harass. I'm going to check and see the kills in these Banshees. 4 kills on this Banshee and 2 kills on this, so a total of 6 drones down for Sakazaki. That's certainly a blow. It looks like Sakazaki is not quite behind on drones, but he does have 22, 29 now covering 2 expos, whereas jpup is at 23, and he has not yet Maynarded or transferred any to his gold. So definitely not the best position for our Zerg player. jpup is looking to get a little bit more harassing with these Banshees. He's playing very well, and he's not hitting the same spot twice. He's just going to go around and sneak up behind Zerg's expo, Sakazaki's expo, and try to take out as many drones as he can. And if he is thinking, if he's very smart, he might actually just snipe a Hydralisk gun and prevent Sakazaki from producing any higher tier combat units, anything higher tier than banelings, because Sakazaki does not have any production capabilities beyond banelings. Well, he actually can produce Mutalisks, but those Mutalisks are not going to do anything against this massive Viking force that jpup has floating around. It looks like Sakazaki's queen is going to get taken down. This is going to be, I believe, the 3rd queen he's lost, and with some very nice Hydralisk saving, it looks like that queen... Hydralisk saving. With a very nice save by this Hydralisk, it looks like the queen is going to be able to get out okay. In the meantime, jpup is massively raping his opponent on income. Still got that tab open. And again, it looks like Sakazaki's just content to continue messing these Hydralisks. I guess he feels like he's winning right now, just because all of these Hydralisks are such a good counter for all of these air units of jpup. All of these Vikings and Banshees. Hydralisks are an amazing counter. But jpup is substantially up, but jpup is finally adding his natural, and Sakazaki is just going to get outproduced. Essentially, is what's going to happen if this game goes on any longer. Especially because jpup, if he feels like it can just transition into Thors or tanks or any mech units that just absolutely chew up Hydralisks. Hydralisks are actually light, so they get chewed up by Hellions too. Essentially anything that comes out of a factory is very deadly to Hydralisks, and Sakazaki really needs to be worried of any sort of attack switch from his turn opponent. It looks like Sakazaki does have an Overlord giving vision of jpup's base, and he does have a Nidus Worm coming up, but jpup is going to be able to sight that in time, and jpup is going to be able to take that down very easily with these Banshees and Marauders. You cannot cancel a Night Swarm, which is the most depressing thing in the world. So it's actually 100 minerals, 100 gas out for Sakazaki to do absolutely no damage. Almost like reverse harass. He's like harassing himself. Looks like jpup is moving in to do some real harass with a bunch of Vikings and a bunch of cloaked banshees. Those cloaked banshees are going to be able to push off any those Vikings are going to be able to push off any detection that would be able to deal with those cloaked banshees. And these banshees are getting a whole bunch of Hydralisk kills, just making short work of Sakazaki's army. These banshees do not do any sort of bonus damage to anything. Actually, I had to double check that. It looks like an Overseer is coming in for Sakazaki, and these Vikings are landing. Very bad timing for them right now, but they are going to be able to lift off in time and run away from the Hydralisks, because the Hydralisks are scary, scary, scary anti-air spine spitters. Looks like Sakazaki has moved in a couple of Zerglings. It does not look like he actually... It does look like he has vision of the gold expansion that jpup has taken, and he's going to come up and get a whole bunch of free SCV kills with these Zerglings. Since this orbital command is now an orbital command, no longer a command center, it cannot lift off SCVs. It cannot pick up SCVs in it. So all these SCVs are just going to get absolutely slaughtered by those Zerglings. jpup is going to be able to clean up these Zerglings with these Banshees, or at least force them off. Speedlings are much, much, much faster than Banshees, as you can see by that little engagement there. It's kind of like some famous sprinter that I can't think of, and some fat guy. But Banshees aren't guys, and I can't think of the name of any famous sprinters right now, so we are just going to let that analogy die in its infancy before it contributes any more atrocities to this already not really that funny commentary. Looks like Sakazaki is going to come in with some Zerglings to do a little bit of a pick on jpup's Expo. jpup's still not Maynarding any SCVs, which is a little bit weird. Oh no, it looks like he Maynarded some somewhere because he's really short. Or he lost some, and I wasn't watching. I did not see him lose any. These Cloak Banshees, again, are going to make very, very short work with these Hydralisks. There's no detection for Sakazaki. Sakazaki is morphing into 2 more Overseer Cocoons. It looks like he's a little bit short on gas. He's at 300 gas right now, and being forced to continually morph in Overseer Cocoons is not the best thing in the world as a Zerg player, just because they're not exactly free. And you are losing units in the meantime while you're waiting for your detection. Looks like jpup is actually landing a couple of his Vikings. Looks like a little bit of a mismiker right there. And those Vikings do get quickly taken out by those Hydralisks, but he is able to inflict a little bit more damage with his Banshees before running away. Sakazaki is not doing any damage with his Lings. They're just kind of chilling right now, and he is being, again, massively, massively, massively out-incomed by his Terran opponent. jpup is doing a very, very good job of keeping Sakazaki on his toes, keeping Sakazaki reacting to him, so Sakazaki doesn't have time to attend to his own game plan. Looks like Sakazaki's just gotten pushed into massing Hydralisks all game. Any sort of a tech switch from jpup right now would just end it. Either into straight Marine Marauder, or into any sort of factory tech. Just anything that can deal with these Hydralisks on relatively even ground would absolutely, absolutely decimate the Zerg opponent. As we can see right now, looks like Sakazaki has nothing but 21 Hydralisks, and jpup actually has that many in just straight Marauders, and Marauders are very, very effective combat units. They don't do bonus damage to Hydralisks or anything, but Hydralisks are kind of like glass cannons, and Marauders are a little bit tanky, and they do a fair amount of damage. Looks like Sakazaki is actually moving out with an attack right now. He's got all of his Hydralisks and a couple of Overseers moving out, and this is probably going to cost him the game, because jpup might not be able to hold it very cleanly, but he will be able to hold it long enough for these Banshees to take out the remainder of Sakazaki's tech. All of the tech in his main is just going to go down. jpup is actually going to turn around and defend. It does not look like he's going to try to go for a base trade. He has more than enough Marauders and Marines to hold this off while his Banshees clean up the rest of Sakazaki's base, but it does not look like he is going to take that risk. Sakazaki's morphing in a whole bunch of Banelings, which is unfortunate because jpup could have taken out that Baneling death fairly easily and prevented any of those Banelings from being morphed in, but he did not do that, and now he will have to live with the consequences. jpup has dropped an army, and he is researching ship upgrades, and it looks like he is definitely committing to this air strategy. He's actually floating a whole bunch of minerals. I would love to see him out on a couple of reactor barracks, and oh my gosh, Banelings against Marauders, and a whole bunch of Marauders to go down to these Banelings. They're able to take out several before going down on their own, and it looks like these Hydralisks are not positioned the best. These Marauders are going to be able to get a very, very nice arc on these Hydralisks, especially as Banshee reinforcements come in the back, and these Hydralisks are going to be made short work of by these Marauders and these Banshees. Kind of trapped up on the ramp, flanked by those Marauders, and GG coming out of Sakazaki. GG is out his main, he is only mining at his natural, and he's aware that Terran is up several bases. Very well played by jpup. Yeah, that was Rainbows with yet another video commentary. If you liked it, please subscribe, and if you did not like it, please leave all sorts of nasty comments in the little box at the bottom of the video so you can tell me how I can stop sucking. Thank you.